All the games are dominating currently, and that's a good thing.
Hey guys, do you ever just wanna... or...
Oof, the sound of those chains dropping. When I was a kid, that was the best sound ever.
or even... Because I do. Like,
The World of Warcraft login screen and music, the original one, is simply legendary. This just proves how much goodwill Blizzard had to squander.
all the time. The truth is, I haven't been excited about a new release for a very long time. The last new game that I was really anticipating
The last time I was excited for a new release was Diablo 4. And then I started crying.
would have been like Outlast Trials or the anniversary edition of Beyond Good and Evil, a game which came out in 2003, by the way, and even that I was anticipating with caution because, you know, it is Ubisoft and nobody wants to see their favorite game ruined. When I have
Makes sense, extremely hot girl, the video I am watching, because not only is she hot, but reasons.
spare time, when I want to chill and just immerse myself in a different world, I go for games that are like 20 years old or somewhere around that.
Ooh, good choices, but I mean, honestly. Okay, listen, all of these are splendid choices, but I would want Heroes 3 here also, okay? 5 is a kind of an uncut gem. By the way, coincidentally, I was talking with my friend about playing Heroes 5.5 just yesterday.
Somewhere around that. If you watched my channel at all, you will know that I'm somebody that appreciates the finer details in games. I really love worlds that feel alive, eccentric characters, cozy environments. I like beautiful things like art, and of course, my favorite, I like clothing and accessories.
I like when a game makes sense, okay? You know what's the worst part about Starfield's world building? The fact that developers are like, oh my god, we have this technology. Now we can put an empty Coca-Cola bottle everywhere and make this look like some kind of cave dwelling. How about no, okay? The fact that you can put a decoration on every wall, a tarp on every step, doesn't mean that you should, okay? There is a level that's acceptable, and then there's a level where people are just like, how is this even real? There's more boxes than buildings in this place.
More and more I'm finding that modern games have nothing to offer me, and I do want to preface this by saying that this is strictly my opinion, but you know, you would think that with the technology that we have now, all of those things that I mentioned earlier could be improved upon tenfold, but alas, we are given bland worlds, sometimes a lecture in politics.
Jesus, the worst thing is when they just make a game just to be a coping mechanism for politics that they don't like. This is disgusting. And also, the ground does not appreciate you existing. It feels pain.
And the erasure of femininity in
Ooh. Yeah. Welcome to the world where this is the new hot woman, okay? It is what it is.
gaming. The last point in particular is something that I, as a female gamer, really hate to see, because in the industry's attempt
I, as a male gamer, hate to see that.
to become more inclusive and conscious of the issues that women deal with
The less something is inclusive, the more I think I'm gonna like it.
when it comes to depictions in media, they've actually gone and made femininity inherently evil and sexualized. Through different companies' actions, we're being shown that beauty and beautiful women have no space in modern gaming.
This is the World of Warcraft thing. Unacceptable, obviously.
That they're just too much. Aside from that, their portrayal of what it means to be a strong woman suggests that we need to be able to
Oh god, not Galadriel.
physically overpower our male opponents. The greatest example of this for me is Abby from The Last of Us 2, who is not only the least
She means She-Hulk. She accidentally said Abby, it's actually She-Hulk.
relatable female protagonist I've seen in like any game ever, she's also said to be extremely unlikable from the start for what she does to our beloved Joel. The game tries its best to make you sympathize with her by telling you her part of the story, but the
Disgusting.
combination of her unrealistic build and her actions throughout the game just make me resent her. And yes, it is an unrealistic build. I'm sorry, but we are in a post-apocalyptic world. Even if she did have access to like top-of-the-line gym equipment in her commune, I doubt that they could ration enough greens and protein for her meal prep to allow her enough time to even get close to that physique. You would need some post-apocalyptic steroids.
Well, listen, I don't even care if they actually have all of that. I'm still against it.
which sets an unhealthy standard, by the way, to make it make sense. But no, the industry thinks I'm an idiot because I'm supposed to say, oh, great, a strong woman, because there's nothing other than
I do say, oh great, when I see a strong woman, I instantaneously click away because I don't want to deal with that crap.
huge muscular arms. That could mean a strong woman. Going back to an old game, I'll compare Abby to Jade from Beyond Good and Evil. Now, this game
That's unfair.
originally came out in 2003, and the protagonist is actually more of a tomboy, but she's still very charming, and the game encourages you to find ways other than physical fighting to progress. It has
When was the last time you heard someone say, yeah, I like tomboys? You have heard it. When was the last time you said, ah, yeah, I like that butch-looking feminist that looks like a man? Never. Yeah, exactly. Strange, isn't it?
great stealth, she's brave, she wants to expose her government for their evil doings, just a very likable character and someone that you could root for. She looks pretty and somehow is in no way sexualized. Weird that they could do that, right? Speaking of unlikable characters, let's talk about Concord. Aside from
Bro, where do you even find a likable character? Also, this doesn't count. It's probably a they-them.
the fact that none of the characters are appealing in any way, and I do mean male or female, they're also just poorly designed. There is no personality to them, no depth.
Well, yeah, that's what happens when this is your peak design. Literally, you literally just took a female character, added 40 elements to it, and slapped on autism.
Nothing that would inspire me to, I don't know, want to cosplay them, for example. And I mean, half of them look like they're a ripoff of something that already exists. Sindel from Mortal Kombat has certainly seen better days. You compare these to heroes from other hero shooters, even the free-to-play ones, and you can see that there's a massive difference. Like, these are beloved characters, people have cosplayed these, you know, they're memorable, people that haven't even played the games know who they are and would likely know them by name as well. Whereas Concord's heroes are at best like 800 V-Bucks Fortnite skins. And you know what? Even Fortnite skins have more personality than what they've
Fortnite skins definitely have more personality than whatever Concord cooked.
created here. We know by now that when something like this gets any sort of criticism, the industry will tell you that it doesn't matter because it's the opinion of straight men, so it doesn't count. Which, by the way,
Dude, IGN gave Concord a 7.
great job ignoring and vilifying like a huge chunk of your audience. However, when I as a woman express my opinions and say that I don't like it,
Then you're just a bigot, obviously.
I explain the issues that I have with it, I will be told that I'm just
Those issues are stupid because women's opinions are not acceptable if they are against the left-leaning idiots, okay? Then you being a woman doesn't matter.
being a pick-me girl, pandering to the men that don't like it. Give me a break. A dragon break. You're telling me straight up that a woman is incapable of coming to that conclusion on her own without
Yeah, that's what I've been saying forever. Women are incapable of coming to the right conclusion. She gets it. Obviously, that's a joke. But is it?
men telling her that that is the way.
Definitely not in the Vogue gaming industry. Bruh, the moment she said that she didn't like Concord, everyone woke shuddered in 100-mile radius and now feels that there's a disturbance in the force that needs to be quenched by calling her bigot, sexist, and what would be the third good one to throw in here? Racist, obviously.
You know what they call that? So yeah, instead of arguing with you and getting called a talentless freak, actual quote from Concord developer,
Nice.
I'm just gonna go and create a new Minecraft world. So as I have said, beautiful women in gaming seem to be an
Disgusting. Aloy, where they literally had to go and readjust her bone structure to look her more ugly. The Aloy at the start was not bad even. Okay, she wasn't the hottest, but she at least was not bad. Okay, but this is where we are in the current present day. Okay, just a little bit more and she would be a pile of goo. And this is Fable. It's gonna be great when it comes out. It's gonna be great.
absolute no-go nowadays.
Fable is literally designed from the ground up to be as woke as possible. It's gonna be great.
And we see this in the new Star Wars
Hell
Outlaws.
yeah.
It feels like the developers literally went out of their way
Dude, I love that some people are trying to say, oh, this is not how she looks all the time. No, this is how she looks most of the time. It's just that bad. Kill yourself.
To diminish this character's looks, especially when you compare her to her face model. Like, they really did her dirty.
Hey. I put money on this happening, okay? I put money on this to be the case. Because what every game that ends up like this has in common, it is the fact that the original person that they made the face scans or whatever they're called of is typically actually really hot. And then they look at this woman and they're like, yeah, this is not real. This is unrealistic. Women aren't like this. And voila! A cave troll.
And in their attempt to make this character less attractive, I actually think that they made her look not human. People don't look like that.
She does not look human, that is the point. She's ugly, but not even human-esque.
Of course, the game is currently receiving backlash for a lot of other things, mainly how it feels so unfinished and broken, but aside from how she looks, it's also the fact that developers are held to these quotas at all. So they were, quote, pushing for a black or female lead in a Star Wars game. Now,
hell yeah, because that turned out well the last time they did it.
What this tells me is that the character and the story don't matter as much as their identity. So this is why we're no longer getting...
Yeah, this is something that people who don't understand Evoke and think it's not that bad constantly misunderstand. It's the fact that if you have a list of things that you need to add just because they're gender specific, like, you know, a black character or whatnot, it's not just a list of, oh, you need to add this, this, and this, and this. First of all, it's a list that's going to change things. If you write a story and the original character's white and then you turn it black, it's going to feel a little bit off at some places. There's absolutely no way around it, especially depending on the design of the character, which most likely is female and ugly. And then there's the problem of these checklists existing and them literally changing the game. Because if you have a checklist and you need to do all of it, chances are a lot of those things were not intended in the original story to begin with. So now they need to shoehorn in things. And this is how we get characters in movies, video games, and so on, where they are literally just like, I'm gay, and that's it. That's their whole character. Their personality starts and ends with that sentence, and that's it. And obviously, that's an extremely unlikable character, and it has absolutely nothing even to do in this fact that the character is gay or whatever. It's just the fact that that's a shallow, dumb, and boring personality. A person cannot be just gay. They need to be a lot of other things to be likable.
Well-written and actually interesting, strong female leads in games. Women have become a box that needs to be checked. We can sort of see this in the kind of criticism that games that go against the current are receiving as well, like Black Myth Wukong. An issue that some reviewer had was that they didn't come across any female characters in the beginning of the game. Now, there are female characters in Wukong, but
they are too hot, and obviously this isn't acceptable.
You don't meet them straight away, that is bad for some reason. We're not letting developers tell a story how they want to tell it, how it's meant to be told. We need to dictate how they're telling these stories.
Now, to be fair, Dustborn came out, and that's exactly the story the developers wanted to tell, and it was horrible.
So that they will fit our standards. In the year 2000, 24 years ago, Diablo 2 came out. Now, this was years before we had any of these new ideas and standards. The game's opening act centers around the women who were forced to leave their monastery because of the Demon Queen Andariel. These women are warriors themselves, or rogues, perfectly capable of holding their own, but they...
Well, to be fair, she's not exactly a demon queen per se. She's a lesser evil.
...do seek the...
Okay, I love Andariel. Do not get me started, okay?
...hero's help, which can be male or female depending on your class, as they are being overrun by their corrupted sisters. The first mini-boss is a callback to one of the main classes in Diablo 1. Then we have the Countess, which is a really clever historical reference to Elizabeth Bathory, or one of the most prolific...
Oh yeah! Wait, this is a reference to it? Well, I guess the fountains of blood should have probably ticked me off. She did things with blood and children.
Prolific female serial killers of all time. Now, this
Yeah, she... Did she kill 50 people or something? I don't remember, but the amount was astonishing. People did not know where people are disappearing, and then turns out, oh, it was her. And what does she do? Well, she's bathing in blood, and a bunch of other people were also involved. Her handmaidens or something like that also got executed after it was found out that she did a lot of things. And I think it was typically young girls that she went after, or at least it was children, I think, mainly.
The most prolific female serial killers of all time. Now, this fits the world perfectly, and above all, it's just great for Act 1.
Hey, I mean, you're an aristocrat in the, no one cares age. You're gonna get bored, okay? I'm not even judging her.
Finally, you face my favorite boss in the game, Andariel, the Maiden of Anguish. I go back to Diablo 2 all the time because it feels like you're actually part of like a really dark and interesting story. None of it feels forced. The characters don't appear to have been added for the sake of any quotas or checked boxes, and it's all very natural and organic. I know in the past there were of course games that had, say, over-the-top depictions with female characters, and an example that is often brought up is Mortal Kombat 9. But the thing about this is, everything in Mortal Kombat was historically over the top. Like, we're talking literally pulling someone's spine out or feeding their spleen back to them. I don't know, I made that one up, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was real. Like, a whole rating system had to be created because of these games. So, really, I don't know if I would see it as like a valid complaint. Like, it's there, I get it, but also, it is what it is. However, in the modern industry, we're sort of going in the complete opposite direction, and it's honestly doing more harm than good. Truthfully, and this is coming from a female gamer.
I absolutely love when the modern day industry wants to be inclusive with female characters. So at the end of the day, what happens? Well, you just put a goddamn hijab on them and call it the day.
Who is supposedly the audience for these new games. I would much rather watch paint dry than pay for this shit. Or level a warrior to 60 in WoW Classic, which is effectively the same thing. The main content on my channel has been centered around Elder Scrolls games, mainly Morrowind and Oblivion, which are both almost 2 decades old. And in 2024, I was able to grow a channel from 0 to where we are now, because I am not the only person who is so stuck on these old games. I've gone over my personal feelings and reasons why I feel like modern gaming has just forgotten about people like me, in the name of supposedly including me more, but different people
Bro, this is a fake plant, by the way. It's plastic.
Have different reasons for sticking to the beloved classics. A recent controversy, which most of you have probably heard of, was the showcase of an Assassin's Creed game that is based in Japan. We have Japanese gamers coming out and saying that they don't get it. It's offensive. There's a petition out there to cancel the release of this game in Japan. And why? Because the game's protagonist is a foreigner that gets to whoop Japanese people up and down the...
Yeah, and he completely is just attempted rewriting history.
block. Tell me why, in Assassin's Creed 2, we have an Italian...
And don't start with the, oh no, they're not trying to rewrite history. They have admitted it. There have been tons of tweets, interviews, and things like that where they say, oh yeah, we're gonna tell the history of Japan. He's a great historic figure.
Protagonist in Italy. We have a Native American guy in America in Assassin's Creed 3. We have a French protagonist in France. Why could we not
Sad though that you have to play as the French.
have a Japanese protagonist in Japan? Japanese gamers don't relate to this at all, and some of them have even highlighted other inaccuracies in the game which are disrespectful to their culture and their country, shows a huge lack of research from the developer side, but I guess their opinion doesn't matter because probably a straight man told them to think.
Yeah, there's a reason Stop Asian Hate ended in less than a day when it became really popular, because they started looking at statistics.
That way. I feel like it's a real shame that there's this awkwardness, or it can be seen as controversial to express these opinions, because if we're not going to get to talk about this, we are forever going to continue having this huge rift between gamers and developers, many failed projects in the future, lots of people losing their jobs over...
I think that's inevitable, even if the industry stops being woke on a dime.
or said failed projects. This brings me to The Elder Scrolls 6. I'm at a point where I don't know if I even want them to go there anymore, because by today's standards, there is just so much that could go wrong. A few months ago, I came across this really spicy hot take that said this.
Skyrim, the game by Bethesda, is a pro-colonization narrative and is racist.
Now,
Hell yeah! Admittedly, Skyrim is literally pro-colonization, actually. But that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Colonizing is awesome! Trains and shit.
did a full response to that video on my TikTok account when it came out, so I will leave it in the description of this video if you want to see that, but in short, I said that depiction does not equal endorsement. I'm seeing that we're starting to have a real problem with media literacy.
Colonization was awesome. Shut up, everyone.
Like, it's non-existent. So just because a particular topic is discussed in any piece of media, it is suddenly endorsed, it is shown as a good thing, according to these people. This girl gave many examples of depictions of racism in Skyrim, like where you can see the Nords ganging up on a dark elf in Windhelm and harassing her, referring
It's a dark elf. The fuck do you want?
to her race as the Greyskins, which is an attempt at a
Well, the dark elves are kind of, pretty not trustable at all, so, I mean...
But lest we forget, ladies and gentlemen, that the Dark Elves of Morrowind are not too fond of Outlanders themselves, or Enwas, as they call them. You see, Skyrim is an already incredibly diluted game when it comes to heavy and difficult topics compared to its predecessors. Like, I'm pretty sure that regardless of your race in the game, you may see slight dialogue differences, but you'll still have equal opportunities for progression throughout the game. It doesn't really change your journey much, whereas in Morrowind, based on your race,
Yeah, that's why it's boring.
you'll actually have a different disposition with different races, so I guess you can call that racism built into the game, but it's just a realistic depiction of how different peoples would react to Outlanders in their homeland. Not only that, Morrowind deals with the very heavy topic of slavery. The player, while having the option to free slaves, can just as easily not help, and in some cases make things worse. In Skyrim, there really isn't an action that you can take that compares to that. In fact, the way in which these racist encounters are presented are meant to make you feel sorry for the person being harassed and not the other way around. So if Skyrim, as I've said, is already a more diluted version of events and is still causing such a stir with these people, what can we expect from the next installment of The Elder Scrolls? Because
Not much. Again, after Starfield, people are really not hyped about what's gonna happen next.
unfortunately, these are the kind of people that are being listened to. Should we expect anything? Aren't we better off just replaying Oblivion for the billionth time instead of expecting like a complex and interesting story to come out of the next game? I'm also worried about the
Yeah, time to replay New Vegas for the whatever time.
incessant attempts at monetization after you've already purchased a game, or if you're paying some sort of subscription. How are they going to implement their store into the game? I don't know about anyone else, but when I go into a game and I scroll to a page in the title screen where I'm seeing euro signs everywhere, it just takes me out of it. Not to mention how some companies just take it way too far, like Blizzard's greed in adding the level 60 boost to TBC Classic ruined TBC for me and for many others. Now, I know Elder Scrolls 6
that was a hot topic issue, but honestly, I don't think it ruined. Because the reality is, not a lot of people cleared next Rams. I stopped playing Classic. Nax wasn't even out. Yeah, Nax wasn't even out. It was AQ40. I stopped playing at that point. Now, I did come back to play Burning Crusade, but if I had to start from zero, I don't know. I kind of want the boost. It's like Cataclysm Classic. A lot of people played it. Did one raid in it. Very cool. Very cool. And the thing is, I bought the level boost. I bought the level boost because I was playing, turns out, on a different server than everyone else was, so kind of didn't really have a choice there. So, yeah, but I understand why people want the level boost. Because it just... In World of Warcraft, at least Cataclysm, it's... The end game is the destination. The journey doesn't matter. So, there you go. Without the boost, I don't think I would have actually continued playing Cataclysm. That's just the brutal reality of it. The level boost doesn't ruin the game for me. I don't think it honestly ruins the game for everyone. It is pay to win for sure in a sense, but I don't know. I don't look at level boosts as the most evil thing ever.
Isn't going to be an MMO, but they will likely try to continue monetizing the game.
Now, admittedly, if they did the level boost in Classic, that would be bad, because in nice freeze frame, 10 out of 10. In Classic, leveling is a huge part of the journey. A huge part of the journey. So, a level boost would not be appreciated there.
Long after you've purchased it, and I don't mean overpriced DLC. If the next Elder Scrolls game is just gonna give our beloved franchise a bad name, honestly, I'd rather not have it at all. Keep it a mystery and I'll just keep playing my old games. And that's it.
Yeah, look at Diablo 4 now. It's literally becoming Diablo 3 in every sense of the word. Anyway, that was Angelica Tosh, 10 out of 10. Bye.